Okay, Tyranny and Mutation from Blue Oyster Cult, 1973. I think this was their third offering, maybe. I'm going to read this review. Blue Oyster Cult is sure some bizarre dudes, but then so everybody's from Long Island, soft right underbelly. Then again, not everybody had a debut LP widely acclaimed as the best ever and the album of a decade. A trip through their new ones, like listening to Hitchcock and Kubrick swap stories about their wet dreams. An avalanche of sonic hysteria summons your attention, and it's full speed ahead into the red and the black. Say, don't those lyrics sound familiar? Why, it's a remake of that bestial bumper from the first LP. I'm on the lam, but I ain't no sheep. Only this time it's about the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. A weird change in topics, but they still get a man in the end. A flash of synthesizer fire leads into another familiarity, the riff from the Hollies' Long Cool Woman. BOC's sure a bunch of perverse motherfuckers dressing up ODs on life itself, which is track 2. It's such ineffectual swarthings, sorts like Nixon winning the Nobel Peace Prize, and the title, geez, what a comforting thought, at least the niftiest since the last verse of Black Sabbath's Supernaut. There's nothing comforting about Don Buck Dharma Rosa's guitar, though. It's fucking explosive. Jimmy Page's favourite guitarist, you say. Then there's Hot Rails to Hell, a brilliant exposition of what the Stones would be playing today if they hadn't turned into such bourgeois hedonist auteurs. To her 19th Nervous Breakdown done, 73 style, complete with those scintillating bass runs at the end. Wish No Longer Here It Is, a crescendo of ear-piecing picking fades into screeching feedback. And then 7 screeching disbusters, the 4th cataclysmic mindfuck in a row. And the tempo, they haven't slowed down since the start. Super fast and a real mind boggler. And Right On Baby with that Madison Square Garden organ playing chiller. Only the most pea-brained nerd could think side 2 would bring respite from the frenzy. Shit, man, the label's black. Intrica, the red and the black. Now I get it. What's this? Baby Ice Dog. A cold, calculated canticle of agonising heartbreak and revenge. Then Wings Wetted Down, a ballad no less, sinister in the extreme, gripping too around the neck. That's another screaming Dharma solo. A flush of the Turlet and its Rametz's Teen Archer, a passionate tale of adolescent sex orgies and the distribution of wealth. Simply killer and a doozy of a single, if they're so inclined. Some rock critics' bands may have fallen into their mentors' fetishes, like the eclectic floppiness of Mendelssohn's Christopher Milk and the asexual nihilism of my own temporary suicide. But Blue Oyster Cult ain't about to let Meltzer's demented mumbling dominate their slashing style. Mistress of the Salmon Salt closes the show on a powerful jagged note with its sing-along quick line girl refrain conjuring up images of the Beach Boys on speed, and with another flash of that hockey stick organ banza. Am I raving about the album just plain raving? Don't know for sure, but I can say that Tyranny and Mutation is the only thing that's budged Paranoid and Heartbreaker off my turntable in a long time. And that's saying a lot. Blue Oyster Cult is one of the best bands America's got. Okay, let's go from my track list. Side 1, of course, is the black, and the opener is the red and the black. And as mentioned, it really is a speed freak type song, really charged up. I wouldn't call it heavy rock, it's hard rock, and it blitzes you into the echelons of the universe, so to speak. if you're on speed, then this is the way to go. Track 2, ODs on Life Itself, segues in from track 1, and it continues the forceful stomp. This band have got a sort of magical feel on this album. It's my favourite by a long chalk, and it really just steams on. This title, for example, what the hell does that mean? Well, I think I referenced it earlier, that ODs on Life Itself. Well, you probably in 1973 would be certainly acclimatising yourself with a variety of drugs, some of which would probably be on a sort of a psychedelic persuasion, and you will be, if you were the age of these guys, really pushing the boat out as far as you can do to maximise your sort of sensory awareness. And with music like this to listen to, you could hardly miss. It was absolutely terrific rock. Here's an extract from the vocal, in fact the complete vocal. How could I fool you, rest and assure you, take you off from here and put you on the line, your backs to the pistol, iron bullets whistle, landscapes open and the world, it's mine, it's still mine, ODs on Life, Life Itself. Writings appear on the wall, curtains part and landscapes fall. It's the writings done in blood, like a mummy's inscription and a bat-winged tongue. Well then, the mouth of the cave will open up wide, wide as the world. That's mine, still mine. So don't you fear the trade in lives. Life loves force and force loves lives. This wedding in heaven was made up in hell. The victim as bride and life, life itself. ODs on Life, Life Itself. Yeah, well, certainly psychedelic substances, I would suggest. Well, we've got track 3. I'm just catching my breath. Hot Rails to Hell. There's some stunning drumming on this from one of the two Bouchard brothers, Albert. And I don't want to repeat myself, but the ending where the band sort of stopped playing and then Buck Dharma continues on solo lead guitar, and it's like a buzzsaw, and it goes on for about 30 seconds squealing towards the last note, and it epitomises the sort of the energy of this album. If you want hard rock energy, this has got it all, and it still sounds so great. And it's how many years? 50 years, 51 years since it was released. Incredible stuff. The lyrics to Hot Rails to Hell, well, it could be just a simple story about summer heat in New York City, but there's also references to your life and the speed at which you go through it. For example, 1277 Express to Heaven, speeding along like dynamite. 1277 Express to Heaven rumbles the steel like a dogfight. I won't read it all, but you make of it what you want. It's not one of the most intellectual lyrics around, but it basically, the title of this album is Tyranny and Mutation, and is that about behaviour that you do and how you change through life? Well, you can interpret it the way you want it. It's got a very, very strange cover as well, this album, in black and white. So to the last track on the first side, 7 Screaming Dizzbusters. Anybody know what that means? I don't know what it means, but it's, once again, it's 7 minutes this, and it really is a tour de force. There's a very sort of odd period in the middle where the drums and bass sort of lock together, and the keyboards and guitar takes a bit of a rest, and it's sort of it is chaotic rhythm, but it all seems perfectly logical when you hear it, and how it fits together in the middle, and pretty impressive bass playing it is as well. And there's almost sort of classical style gothic piano as the outro appears, which I noted. It's a tremendous piece of work, but I can't keep on saying it about this, and it is actually the second album. I checked that on Wiki. What a useful thing Wiki is. The best we got from the lyric, really, and from looking at the net, is that these Dizbusters are in fact demons, and there is a reference in the lyric, and I'm just quiet, to Lucifer. So we're into Sabbath territory here, but one shouldn't sort of delve too deep. But they were a heavy metal, well, not heavy metal, hard rock band really, at the time when the sort of supernatural, the clash between good and evil, witches, cauldrons, Lucifers, was a popular theme of lyrics. Black Widow, Black Sabbath, for example, great exponents of that. And so one can assume it has something to do with another nickname for these demons. I've got another theory. Dizbusters is a rough German translation of ejaculated semen, and Bouchard, the drummer, in an interview once said that the cleft of the penis is to be the Diz, and the buster was the duster's dust, a lyric from the song. So there we have it. Is it demons, monsters, the supernatural, or is it just the last remnants of a good fuck? You work it out, please. So, would the black side 2 keep up the ferocity of the first side? Well, it opens up with a 3-minute sort of slightly more restrained song that's entitled, and I'm just trying to get a title on it, Baby Ice Dog, described by AllMusic as a cold, calculated canticle of agonising heartbreak and revenge. The pace has certainly dropped, but the pins are like guitar pieces continue, and I like how the sort of the piano sort of meanders through the rhythm, and it's still got that sort of underlying sort of aggression and also linked to the afterlife and mysticism in it. Segues into Wings Wetted Down, and we get a reminder of the occult and the sinister aspect of that whole feeling of fear, and to some extent the lyrics run parallel with bands such as Black Sabbath was content at that stage of the 70s, 1973. There's some terrific synthesizer that takes the solo midway through on this. It still isn't as pacey as side one, but it's got a mystique that's makes one realise that it's all part and parcel of one complete package here. And here's a little excerpt from the lyric, the beginning. Flights of black horsemen soar over churches, pursued by an army of birds in the rain. None of them can see the clouds. The polished wings don't care. Animal waves through the hazy dreams full of pain. Wings wetted down, stumbling on the ground. It all turns around in the end. It all sounds rather chilling and terrifying, doesn't it? And you sort of get a vision of maybe a Hammer horror flick, or maybe something even more sort of bizarre, like the armies scenes in Lord of the Rings Part 2, but it's certainly, from a sound point of view, they seem in perfect unison in this record, and they slip through the rhythm changes almost with an innocuous nonchalance, I find. Teen Archer sweeps in next. Once again, it has a sort of funky sort of rock beat that makes you realise that they're not going to take a step backwards. There's some great lead licks from Dharma on this. One point I feel about this album is that you have to play it loud to get the maximum impact, I think. If it's played softly, it's technically quite good, but it lacks that sort of rush, that energetic rush. I'm sure it must have been fantastic live. Midway, the keys take over with runs on organ and piano, electric piano, and then the pace starts to quicken up from this gentle, funky rhythm, and it becomes more of what we heard on side one, and once again it feeds into the final track. But just a word about the lyric. I'll read a bit of it. She got less than you or I. She got less than me. When she gets tired. She gets tired. She got more than you or me. She gets more than me. She get wild. She gets wild. Bawling all night, bawling all day. She won't bawl on me. Interesting title, Archer, suggesting a sort of proactive desire to kill, and with a certain sense of accuracy, and the first part of the lyric suggesting that this metaphor, if it is, suggests that she's not hiding away from work, the concept of work, and her behaviour is somewhat sort of charged up, but she's a wide swing of emotion. Anyway, you read it and make of it what you wish. So to that Mistress of the Salmon Salt, we hear the chorus, quick time girl, a lot. What the title means, I have no idea at all. It's a sort of sleazy style beat which sort of slumbers through with the drummer Bouchard and bass player his brother keeping it tight, and it maintains the quality really. I can't really say I've got much more to say about it than that. It's not a very lengthy album, it has to be said, but less than 40 minutes, but it's probably, well, it still remains my favourite, and this was of course prior to their huge hit Don't Fear the Reaper, which came off their next album, Ages of Fortune. After that they released loads of albums, but it didn't catch my ear, and occasionally I listened to and downloaded a recent album about 3 years ago, and they could still deliver, but I think this was their peak. I wouldn't describe it as heavy rock, heavy metal. I would just describe it as a hard rock with a tinge of the occult as sufficient labels for this one. So that's my thoughts on The Red and the Black by Blue Oyster Cult from the album Tyranny and Mutation. The red and the black are the two sides. Sorry, I got that wrong. It's Tyranny and Mutation, second album, and with the two sides. Most of it segued together.